Hi everybody, I'm Vanessa from the Spinner Stash, and this is my son Jonah. We're just getting ready to do our yarn demonstration, but we're getting all set up here, so feel free to hang out and then, yeah, let me get him set up. He's going to be my official comment watcher. Okay. We'll get this set up. Okay, Jonah, here we go. So the comments will start coming up over there. And we'll just give everybody a couple minutes to come get on. So you see there's like a little number up here. It says 1. That means that there's one person, 2 people. Hi, everybody. We're just, we wanted to get it up early just to make sure that we were sure that he was going to be able to see where the comments were coming from. Since I've not really done it where it wasn't me looking at it, so we've got it on the laptop. So Jonah's going to help me in case anybody asks questions and I miss it. But we will get started with the AUTOWRAPPED Beehive yarn spinning demonstration. Just in a couple minutes, I guess. Just make sure that we give everybody a couple minutes to get on. And I'll start it probably right at 7, I think. So, yeah, so this is the yarn that we're going to be demoing. It's going to look similar to this. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same. So this is an auto-wrapped beehive. So the auto-wrapping portion of this one was like a sparkly thread here. And I did auto wrap the thick and thin single, which is the first stage of the beehives. So I did the auto wrap on that first portion, which is what we're going to be doing today. But if you wanted to, you can do the auto wrapping as you're doing the beehives, which is the second stage of spinning for beehives. So it's up to you. I'll tell you that the design of the auto wrapping looks more like kind of like lightning bolts. You see how it's very non-uniform and kind of crackly looking? This is how it generally comes out when you put the auto wrap on before. And then if you do it after, it's more of just the spiraling going down because you're only going in that last direction for your auto wrapping. So this is just another example. And this one I did with a literal sewing thread. So it's just a black sewing thread, and again on this one I spun it with the auto wrapping when I did the thick and thin, which is the first stage. So it is 7 o'clock, guys. So if you don't know me, my name is Vanessa from the Spinner Stash. This is my son Jonah. He's kind of just a lurker today. I couldn't really come up with something for him to... Oh, okay. So the wheel that I'm using today is the Country Spinner 2, the Ashford Country Spinner 2. This is my favorite wheel. This is the wheel that I use most of the time. I can spin super bulky, huge, chunky yarns on it. It just works really great. I've had it for years and years. It's my number one wheel. I have many wheels, but this one is definitely my favorite. I didn't even see that comment, buddy. So it's a good job that you're, for some reason I am not seeing the comments on here. Oh, swipe left to reveal the comments. I did. Okay. Oh, here we go. I see the comments were delayed for some reason. I'm sorry, Sonia. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the actual spinning and stuff. So I did set up for this demo where I already spun half of it. That way we can go from complete start to a complete finish. So to prep your wool, now I just am using just a standard roving. And the only thing I do once I take it out of the braid is I do a pre-draft before I get started. So the amount of drafting that you want to do, I usually get it close to the thickness that I want, like the largest of my beehives to be. So I don't draft it very much if I want them to be super huge beehives. If I want them to be more slim beehives, then I'll bring it down to a smaller size. So just a nice, easy drafting of that. So we can prep those real quick. My wool's all falling apart here. And obviously you can use any breed for doing this. You can use any form of wool. So like in roving, you can peel off bats. Whatever you want to do, you should be able to do it. So we're just doing our pre-drafting right now. Is anybody out there actually spinning while you're watching, or did you just come to watch me spin? I was curious about that. And is anybody working on anything right now? You okay, buddy? Can you see that? Are you looking at the comments? Yeah. He's my, Jonah is my helper today. He's going to be watching all the comments. Right, so I got all of this wool prepped. Now I did do, in a total for this yarn, was 8 ounces. But that's because I wanted 2 4-ounce skeins. And I already spun one of the 4 ounces, and then I just got this one started, so we had to conserve time, basically. Now, for my auto wrap thread on this, I just have, it's this really sparkly thread, super thin, black. You can use anything that you want. You can use sewing thread. You can use like a cone of whatever. I don't even know what this is. Something synthetic, obviously. But this puts a real nice shine on it. But you could pick anything that you want to be your auto wrap. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and get started with the spinning. I'm gonna move the camera so you're not gonna be able to see my face because I want you guys to actually be looking at my hand. So for beehives, the first spin, so like the initial spin is gonna be a thick and thin. So if you don't know how to do a thick and thin, basically how I draft it out is I do, I grab a chunk like this and then I do one forward draft and I don't let it separate. I like my in between of my thick and thins to be quite thin, but if you want it to be a little thicker in between, then just leave it a little thicker. I like it to be very extreme, very thick, then very thin, very thick, very thin. Okay, and we're gonna spin in the clockwise direction, so just like a regular single. You're gonna have your auto wrap thread, just put it right on, just connect it right where your wool goes. And then I usually put the cone down in between my legs so it can feed very easily and organically right off of the cone. And then we're just going to start to spin our thick and thin single. So for beehives, in the initial spin that you're doing your thick and thin, you want to overspin slightly. And that's really going to help on the back end when we do beehives and we're plying. That little extra is going to be really good. Right, so as you can see right here, well, I don't know if you can see with the camera, but this is just the auto wrapping thread is just going around all by itself. And then I do my little drafting, pinch back here, and then let the twist climb in and also let the auto wrap thread go around. And then as that's spinning, I'm going to do another draft and then let the twist climb in. And I'm just going to keep doing that. Pull a chunk out, run my fingers back. So I like to keep it nice and a nice big chunk and then a nice thin chunk. And then we already have one here, so we're just going to let that go. And you can see that the auto wrapping thread is just wrapping around really nicely by itself. And I just kind of let it go where it wants to go. I don't try and guide it too much because I like it to look kind of sloppy, actually. Now you can really organize it where it's going down in a really nice spiral. I just don't prefer mine to look that way, and that is also a lot more tedious, so it's going to take you longer to do.
3 comments?
No, I just have one. Was somebody asking a question?
I have 2.
Okay, it's okay. Sometimes people, they don't talk. All right. So because these are so big and because we have an auto wrap thread, you really got to watch if you have hooks. You see on my wheel, I have the hooks instead of the round, the pegs. So you can get caught up on there. So just be mindful of that. If it starts tugging, then just find where it's hung up and then untug it and then let it wrap. Don't try and fight against the wheel because you can definitely break something if you did that. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing these thick and thins here. And I have my auto wrap thread is right here, just going. So we broke it off a little there, it's fine. And this is literally all you do for the first part. So you want to do your full braid or your full bat or whatever that you have. Do the whole thing. And I like mine to be really varied in sizes. Does anybody have any questions about the thick and thins? Or the auto wrapping? I mean, it's just the easiest part, I think, for sure. And it doesn't take very long. Like you'll see, this is only going to take me a couple minutes to do this entire 4-ounce braid. Remember to be adding just slightly a little bit more twist than you think you need, because that's really going to help on the back end when we make our beehives. And this is auto wrapping is going really good. It's looking great and it's going on really nice. And I'm going to keep making sure that I'm walking my yarn down the bobbin as we go. And as you can see, if I pull this out, you can really see that I put like a lot of extra twist in there, how it's like really twisting up, but that's perfectly how you want it to be. And it is going to hop over the chunky bits to the thinner parts, but that's okay because you'll see when we do the second part how we're going to kind of help the twist walk to where it needs to go. Right, so back to the clockwise here. Spinning. I just got a little bit more left on here. So is anybody else spinning today, or is everybody just watching kind of? Oh, I want you to see my hands, not my... Yep, so we're just going to keep going all the way to the end here. I got a little hung up because it's this auto wrapping thread. So it definitely depends when you're going to be making beehives or you're doing these really extreme thick and thins. It really depends on your wheel, like how big that you can have them. Because if the orifice is not big enough for your thick and thin, like the bobbly part of your thick and thins to fit through, then you're really going to be struggling and you're not going to be able to spin. So if you have a hook orifice or a that's probably better, unless you have like a really giant tube orifice like these. The country spinner comes with like a massive tube orifice. Now, like the Spinolution wheels, they have you can use the hook or the tube orifice, so that's like a really nice option. I don't really like using the hooks too much when I do the auto wrapping, just because the threads can sometimes get a little floppy and then they get like hung up on the hooks, so, or the pins. So I definitely just like to use the country spinner with the big tube orifice. watching on a glitchy tablet. Oh no. Why is it glitchy? Is it the actual tablet, or are you in some like bad weather or something? Because it's like pretty nice here. It was supposed to be stormy, but then it never stormed, which I wish it would, because it is so hot here. It rained for like 2 seconds. Right, so I'm going to start walking my yarn back. I only have a little bit left for the thick and thins, and then we're actually going to be able to get started on the beehives, which is the fun part. So has anybody out there even, have you made this before, or will this be everybody's first time trying it? It's hard when no one's talking. I'm not so great at doing the lives, especially for the demos and stuff. So we're just getting used to it, right, Jonah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do a lot of spinning, but I've been trying to do other projects recently as well. But spinning is definitely my favorite. And this roving, you got a question? Is there a question? I haven't tried yet, but want to. You can just read it to me, buddy. Do you have a wheel that, Jane, do you have a wheel that you want to try it on, or do you not have a wheel? You can also spin these on a drop spindle. Like I said, it's just the, you're just doing a thick and thin, and then you're basically doing a core spin for the second part of the spin. So those are easily doable on drop spindles.
So, how do you pronounce this?
Says not sure. I can't type and watch. Is just weird. It's a cheap off brand too. Oh no. Oh, okay. A Lendrum. Yeah, Lendrums are nice. So nice and easy.
First time I hear about Wrapped Beehive.
Oh, yeah, no, I just made it up. I don't. That's probably why. I just try different stuff. I mean, I'm sure other people have done it. I just, I don't know. I just, one day I was like, I wonder if this would, how this would look if I did this and then did that, and I tried it, and then it looked pretty cool. So I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing that. But like I was saying in the beginning too, there's a couple different ways that I've tried doing the auto wrapping on here as well. I've done it where it's like this, where I'm wrapping it when I'm doing the thick and thin. But I've also done it where I'm wrapping it as I'm plying instead. So I wouldn't be doing it right now. I'd be doing it when I ply everything together in the end, making the beehives. And it's a totally different look between the two.
I have done them before, but would like to make them firmer, looking for tips.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of times that depends on the wool that you're using. Like if you have something nice and something that's really nicely combed and smooth, and then nice and puffy. So the one I have is a little bit sloppy, but I'll give you a couple tips on how I try and clean it up as I'm spinning it back on itself. Right. So we have our thick and thin is done. And that was 4 ounces of thick and thin that we just did.
The beehive that is.
Yes, the beehives. So we're going to do so when we get to the, yeah, no, I understood what you were saying. Yeah, we're going to get to that right now. So we have our thick and thin, so that's the base of it, right? So now we have to do it on a second spin. So I have to just quickly change up my setting here, because I'm going to, you know what, I kind of messed up because I don't have another bobbin for that one. Oh, I could just put it on the end of this one. So I spun this one earlier already in anticipation of getting it all done at once. And so I'm just going to keep adding it to this bobbin here. Right. So when you're applying your thick and thin into a beehive, you need to do that in the like counterclockwise direction. So opposite the direction that you just spun it. Now you want to have a core to spin it onto. I like to use a mohair core that's like kind of, you can see it's like super fuzzy. And it just helps to grab all of the fibers and like keep them nice and close to the core. If you use something that's synthetic or really smooth or fine, then you might, about hand gestures. It's warning me about hand gestures. If you use something that's too fine, it might not grab onto it, and then your beehives are going to be like sliding around a lot.
Does that bobbin hold?
Oh, I think that this bobbin on the Ashford, the Country Spinner 2, is 32 ounces, I believe, which is a whole lot. I'll tell you, it's so much that when I've like getting to where I'm maxing it out, I have to bring the wheel so close to me because the trailing gets so hard when the bobbin is that heavy that it's like you're going uphill. It's pretty crazy. All right, so what I use is the mohair core, and this is pretty thin. If you want your end product to be like have a thicker core, like thicker in the middle, then you'll want to use like a thicker core. But I like mine to go very small to very large, so I'm going to use a small fuzzy core. So this is a mohair thread, and then I'm going to put my bobbin over here on the side. Hey, what happened to my lazy cape? Oh, yeah, so for the Country Spinner, you actually have like the built-in lazy Kate. My wooden dowel broke that holds it, but I got this metal rod that I found in the garage, so this is what I use. That goes on there. So I'm just going to set up my thick and thin over here on the side for its second spin. And then I'm going to try and get the camera. How many? Okay.
How many people?
Oh, no. I'm just trying to get the camera because I want it to be like right here at the perfect spot. So let me grab the end here. Right. So this is just some of what I was spinning earlier. I just wanted to make sure that I had like enough product in case it was taking too long to show you guys how to do the end bit. All right. So we'll get this set up real quick. And I'm just going to attach it right into the end. I'm going to take my core and I'm just going to tuck it right in here and fold it back on itself. And then I'm going to take find the end here of my thick and thin here. And I'm also going to just tuck it through there and fold it back on itself. And that's how I always start my, right. So we're going to get this going and then counterclockwise. And then I'll just for a couple inches, I'll just do them as they're applied. I'm not going to like do the beehives yet. And then I'll do like a little wrap. This just locks everything and gets ready. Right, so I'm going to build up some twist here before I show you how I'm going to walk it back. So once you got twist building in there, like I'll do it all at once in a minute. I'm just going to show you if you want to do like a park and draft or a park and spin kind of thing. As you're sliding your hand back and the twist is coming in, you want to walk your thick and thin in from almost a 90-degree angle. I did just a little bit less than a 90-degree angle. Okay, so I'm going to be feeding it in sideways as I'm pulling straight back on my main line here. So I'm going to be letting the twist, and then I'm feeding this in sideways. As it slows down, then I know I need to be adding more twist. Okay, so the twist is coming in, And then I'm feeding this in at almost a 90-degree angle from the side.
Got it.
How many? No, that's not a new comment, buddy. It just says somebody's watching. As I'm feeding it in, I like to hold on the thin parts, hold on to the next thin part that's coming up, and I roll it towards myself as I'm feeding it on. And this kind of keeps everything more together and gives you a little bit more of a crispy, like a crispy beehive. So I literally just grab on the thin part and I roll it towards myself as it's going up into it. So I'll see if I can do it like really slow to show you. So I have my twist building. I'm not letting it escape. Now I'm going to let it start coming back and the twist is going. I'm rolling my right hand towards myself as it's laying on, right? Then I come back here and I'm holding at the next skinny part, right? I'm feeding it on, and as it's rolling over this hump, I'm rolling it towards myself with the right hand. And you see how it like keeps it really nice and together. It's like a lot more crispy. So again, I'm holding here past on the next skinny part, and I'm rolling it towards myself as it's feeding it on. And the faster that you go, the faster that you're going to have to roll. So as you can see, my right hand is really like working. So I go to the thin bits and then I'm rolling towards myself as I'm laying it on there. And so this is where you really wanted to make sure that you had like that excess twist in there, because as I'm twisting with my right hand, that's undoing the twist that I put in earlier.
Whoops.
Right? It's okay, buddy. So I'm twisting it towards myself and laying it on. And that's literally just all that you do through the whole thing. It's 1 7.
Yeah. 1724.
0.
03. Okay,
So twisting it towards myself and laying it on.
What
Now the
will
big
you
thing.
What will make with this beehive yarn?
Okay, so I'll probably I usually use beehive yarn in weaving. I don't think I've really used it in much anything else. It's not a very good candidate for knitting or crocheting, just simply because it's not very uniform, and those are precise kind of projects. But weaving, it comes beautifully in weaving. I have lots of pieces with beehives in it. So just keep going, and I'm just laying it on, and then this is just what you do through the whole thing, and you kind of get a groove going once you get going. As you can see, you get like in a little pattern. Now you want to make sure that you're not over twisting when you're putting it back on. So you did want to over twist on the first spin when you were going clockwise for the thick and thin, but this one you really want to make sure that you're not over spinning it. And the way that you'll be able to tell is that you'll get little knots, especially here in your skinny areas, because that's where your twist wants to be. It always wants to travel to the thinnest part. So your excess twist is going to go to those little areas where it's thin. So that's a good place to watch. If it starts like looking tight or balling up, then you know that you've got too much twist going in and you need to relax. I'm just going to move this so it stacks nice. I mean, this really isn't going to take me very long. Now, a lot of these I do just sell, obviously. But personally, okay, buddy. Personally, I think these look best in weaving. Yeah, you can do these any size as well. Like, it looks really cool when you do like smaller, like when you do basically just an entirely smaller version of this. Like these, I chose to make like really big beehives, like really chunky ones, but you can make them as small as you want to go. And those look really neat too.
Please post some of your weaving projects with the beehives later.
Yeah, I actually have right behind me. Hold on, let me get you out of here. I can bring you up here. I have one. Okay, so if I stand on this chair and it breaks while I'm on a live, I'm going to be really sad. So this one right here has some. You can see these baubles like popping out right here. That one is beehives. And then I think, trying to think of where some other ones are. What's up?
It was like cracking.
Oh,
Creaking.
He's like scared that I'm gonna break my
Then you're gonna
my
lay
chair.
on top of me.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna hurt me.
This other one doesn't have any in it. I do have more. I just don't have anything out. Yeah, I'll have to look, and then maybe I can just post it back into this event, and then you guys can see. But it looks pretty neat because you get like lots of big pieces sticking out. So if you want something that's going to have a lot of texture, like a weaving that has a lot of texture, then yeah, auto wrapping is fun. I like auto wrapping on all kinds of different. Like I try it on basically every kind of yarn that I've ever made because I think it looks really cool. And plus, like, you can add sparkle to anything and it turns out really great.
I have never done an auto wrapping or beehives.
Yeah, I just read that one, buddy. Thank you.
How about this? I just read them out loud and I don't inform you that I'm reading them.
Yeah, it's okay. You can do whatever, bud.
So I'd show my stuff right now?
Okay. So my assistant, Jonah, he wants to show you guys something real quick. He wants to show you. So I'm going to let him do that while I'm spinning this. And in just a couple minutes, I'll go ahead and stop doing this and show you how I finish it up. Because I don't want to keep you guys too long. Okay, Jonah, if you want to show him something, you can go ahead and show him something real quick.
So I've been working on these little perler beads. They're made to be little sheeps. We have these. And then we have these two little guys. These two matching ones are made to be earrings. Then we have this one. I came up with this idea. Then we have this one. I followed an idea from online. And I got this giant bag of random perler beads that I made in here. And then I made this Pokemon. It's my favorite Pokemon. Mom, do you like this Pokemon?
Yeah, he's cool, man.
And I tried spinning for the first time and I made this. It's a little necklace that I could wear.
Yeah.
And I put a little charm on it.
Was that one on the drop spindle or the spinning wheel? I can't remember.
Spinning.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because he usually has had spun on the drop spindle. But he was doing the spinning wheel, so that was pretty good. Oh, somebody said cute sheep, Jonah.
I just looked at that.
All right. So, do you guys have any more questions about like how to do these beehives? I'm just gonna go really quick at just through my tips one more time about the about plying these. So the person who is asking about the crispy beehives, number one is going to be the fiber that you use. You want it to be like really nicely carded or brushed. And then, nothing that has like too much, like this one is more, it has like lots of bits in it, so it's not super clean looking, but you can find stuff that's going to be a lot smoother. And the second thing is going to be, you want to add that little bit of over twist when you're doing your thick and thin, because that's going to help it stay together when you're plying it in the opposite direction. And then when you are plying it, you want to help that twist stay in there by grabbing at the thin part just beyond your bobble. That's what I call it, the bobble. I don't know, your thick part. And you want to rotate towards yourself as it's going on to your core. So grab here and then rotate towards yourself as you're laying it on your core. Towards yourself on the core. Towards yourself on the core. And that just keeps it a lot more tight and together, as opposed to if you didn't do that, it wants to pull the twist from here into here, and then it starts separating it because it goes too fast. When you're rotating it towards yourself, you're just helping it walk across, basically, if that makes sense.
Can I?
What's up, buddy?
So on these, I said that they were gonna be earrings. And I have this little bag right here, and it holds all my stuff for that. So we went to the craft store and we got these high quality little charm things that you could connect these to, like right here through the hole. And then, hold on.
All right, buddy.
Hold on. I can't. Let me separate this one. Okay, and then you have this part right here, and then you have a little circle, and then you piece them together, and then you put them on the little thing.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Okay, so I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I want to show you how I finish it. I mean, I guess I don't really need to show you that part. Oh, I am almost done. Let me just finish. I'll just finish spinning it real quick, guys. It'll take me less than 5 minutes. I'm pretty fast. It's just trying to get it all fit. So this is like a dangerous game of bob and chicken here, because I don't know if I wasn't planning on putting all 8 ounces of this on there. And it's so puffy that I just don't know. Now I'm having to like walk it up there. It won't take long. It will only take me a minute. And then we'll take it off of here and I'll show you how I finish this. I do a steam on these. I do not soak it to set the twist, just simply because it can ruin the structure of the beehives and like flatten them out. I like to keep them looking really puffy. And the way that you do that is going to be steaming them. And I'm nearly done here. Oop, that one's a big one. That one might not even. So the orifice that I have on here is a 1-inch orifice, and that beehive almost did not fit through it. So that's how big some of these beehives are. But that's how I like them.
How do you pronounce that person's name?
Sonia?
I got a question for them. I got a question for Sonia. Which sheep did you like? Number 1, 2, 3, or 4?
All right, I have a little bit, you can see here, I have a little bit too much twist going in. I don't know if you can see right here. This is how you tell. See how there's like a little knot right there? I was looking at my son as he was dangling his things over, and I put way too much twist in there. So the way I'm gonna get that out is I'm just gonna back this off a bit, and I put tension on it. Oops, I just pulled my core out. hold on a minute. Let me reattach here. If that happens, if something breaks, like my cord just broke because I pulled it too hard, then I just usually just tie it together and then spin over it. So I'll kind of back up a little bit.
Also, how do you display them at a show or sale?
Oh, okay. So usually I like my things to look very very haphazard. I don't like things to look very organized, but I have like lots of tree branches and things that I hang around. And then I just hang my, this is too small. I cannot even. I just hang my yarns onto like sticks and stuff. Like these. So these were two of them that I was showing you guys earlier that I had previously spun. And I would just take this and then just hang it on like a hook or something, or like I have like a display tree and then I'll hang it on the tree, or I have like sticks that I put and then I'll just hang these over the sticks. Like I literally just drape them everywhere, and I don't.
How do you pronounce your name again?
Sonia.
Thank you, Sonia.
All right, so let me just finish this. I was nearly there, and then I got distracted by my son. All right. Ooh. And now I'm just getting all stuck up there on it. It's because it's getting towards the end, and then it gets harder to put on to get it to go on there. I'm at the manual wind on here. So I do leave at the ends. I leave like, I don't put any beehives when it gets close to the end, because you want to make sure that you can.
I think that won't fit through.
Yeah, it'll fit. I'll make it fit. That's what I'm doing. Sometimes you just have to like pull it through if they're too big. I would get a bigger wheel if there was one to be got, but there isn't. This is the biggest that there is out there, I think, so as far as I know. So it could be very tedious to do the beehives, but that's okay, because they turn out really awesome. And we're just on the last little bit here, so.
That's a little stretch.
Yeah. Ugh, these just don't want to go in.
I would love to see pictures of your display at a show.
Oh, yeah, if you just go to my Facebook page, there's like tons of pictures of like my or my Instagram, and it's just like, I mean, it looks like a magical wonderland to me, but I could be biased. But it's just like, I just have wool and yarn and all kinds of stuff just draped everywhere. That's usually how I display it. So we are at the very end here of the thick and thin. And like I said, so at the end, I don't put any beehives. It's just, I just finish it off just as a single, and then I might even like wrap the core around the outside. So that's the end of that. And then I always put a knot at the end. I am sweaty. That was like a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and it's been in the 90s here. We're in Valdosta, Georgia, way down south, like on the Georgia-Florida line. So yeah, it's been really hot. Right. So I usually just use a nitty knotty or the yarn like a yarn winder. I have a really cool antique one. Now the antique one makes the skeins a little bit bigger than I usually like, so I don't use that a lot. Let me just switch this out of my way. I'm just going to use a nitty knotty for today. And I do skein it first before I do anything else. So we're just going to wrap this on the nitty knotty. This one is just a 1 yard. I like the 1 yard just as a standard. But I do sometimes for the bulkier ones, I'll use the 1.5 yard Nitty Naughty or the yarn winder, which I think I've worked out is like a 2 yard, measurement. So it's pretty big. Oops. Jonah, can you do me a favor and like make sure that this part stays down right there?
Yep.
I don't want the hooks to grab my... Yeah, you can't, don't touch the bobbin though. There you go. Watch your face as I'll hit, watch your face. Yeah, so I'll just get this skeined up. Now once you have it all on your Nitty Naughty, then you're gonna wanna tie your figure eights, so that way your skein doesn't get all ratted up. And I usually use something synthetic. It's probably the only time that I prefer something synthetic, because if you use actual wool to tie your figure eights, it can that's in my way. It can felt up, and it can felt up and ruin your stuff. Right. So I almost got, this is like right at the end here. So I usually, if it can reach, I'll tie the ends together, and it's reaching. So I'll go ahead and do that. So for the person who is asking, I'm sorry, I said you can check my Facebook or my Instagram. Those links are in the,
Bio.
yeah, they're in the bio of this basically. Like it has the links for all of that if you want to go and check me out. Now I take a synthetic piece of thread, and then I'll tie 4 figure eights, usually 4 for the 1 yard Nitty Naughty. And this is going to keep everything from getting all knotted up. So there's one here, and I like to trim it up. I do also like to make it in some kind of contrasting color because otherwise I lose where it's at, and yeah, makes it hard to get it undone later. I didn't think I was gonna finish that in that quick of a time. That's why I had some pre-prepared. I felt like it was gonna take longer, but I guess when I'm not being yeah, because usually I'm like spinning while I'm like watching my daughter or something, and she wants a million things, so I have to stop a million times, or you know,
like
life.
When she's on trampoline and stuff.
Yeah. Because sometimes I'll go spin outside when she's jumping on the trampoline. Right, so this is our last figure eight here. And then I just have this little steamer that I got off Amazon. It's nothing special. I think I paid $10 for it, and that was including the shipping. And that's what I use too. Right, so here's the end. So we'll go ahead and take us off. And as you can see, so it's looking pretty good, because like if it was like super overspun, it'd start curling up on itself, and I'd say that looks pretty good. So you guys can see. But let's go ahead and get it set with some steam. So I got this is my little steamer. It's just a Conair little like $10 steamer that I got off of Amazon. And I'm just going to plug it in real quick, guys. It does the job very well. Right, so we'll just point that away from our face. And then I'm going to let that heat up real quick. And we could just admire this yarn while we wait. But look. So this roving was already really cool anyways. It's from Rusty Spur Ranch. So I got it in the last Wafa sale, and it looks all tweedy to me, and so I thought it was really cool to begin with anyways. And then with the auto wrap and the beehives, I think that turned out really neat looking. So definitely not for everybody, but I think it's really cool. And so on this one that we did spin was 80% South American, 20% viscose. And so the viscose would be the little tweedy bits that are in there. But I think that makes it look so cool. Right, it's almost ready for steaming. Here we go. Right, so let's give this a good steam. Make sure you don't burn your hands. And I love this part because you can actually like see the
steam.
Well, you can see the steam, yeah, but you can see it setting the wool, like the wool starts moving.
You can see what's happening.
Yeah, it starts curling up. You want to make sure you really let it get into there. Shake it up inside, and then I'll like kind of shake it and then move it to the next. Don't put your hand in the steam though, bud, because it's really hot.
I figured that.
You could soak these to set them if you wanted to. Like I said, I just prefer doing it like this just to keep the baubles the beehives looking more intact. And I feel like sometimes if you put them if you soak them, it kind of makes them look a little flat. This really springs them up though, and look at how bouncy that's getting. And even once I steam them, I'll like give them a few thwacks like on the ground just to even out any twists that might have gotten bunched up in one area. And it'll kind of help it sort itself out. I've seen a lot of stuff lately on the Wafa page about, or well, maybe it's not on the Wafa page, just around on Facebook, let's just say, on the spinning pages about people asking or doing like where they're setting it with a weight on the yarn. I would never ever recommend doing that for any reason whatsoever. So don't do that especially on yarns like this. You want to make sure that you're not damaging your yarn by doing that.
Can I thank you on
No, don't be writing stuff, buddy. So does anybody have like any last questions? I feel like that went really quick, but also like took forever. Right, so when I say thwacking, I don't know if you guys know what that means, but I'll show you. So
Like
this
this?
is literally what I do.
She does this.
Yep, he knows what I do. So I just grab it on one spot and then I'll slap it onto the ground. And then I'll just do that a few times. And this really fluffs it up,
Hey,
but
Mom, should I
also
turn that off?
also helps the no, it's okay. It helps the twist to spread out as well. So guys, this is our finished yarn here. This is what it looks like. And then you could see the auto wrapping on there, and you can use any colors that you want, any kind of thread that you wanted. You could even use like other yarns to do auto wrapping. It doesn't have to be like a super thin thread. It just really matters like where you position it, if it's like gonna come out like normally. But are there any comments on there? I don't see any on here. Any questions?
It's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, thank you. I don't know why the comments are not coming up on my thing. Well, some of them do, but some of them do not. But thank you for coming, and I hope that you learned something. But I had fun, and I think Jonah had fun. And let me know, send me a message or a comment to let me know, like, something that you might like to see next time, like a different kind of spin or another wool craft. I'm pretty diverse. I do weaving, I do felting and sewing, all kinds of stuff. Here, just turn it off, buddy. Are you coming to say goodbye?
Yep.
Okay. He's coming to say goodbye, and then we will be off. He's like doing some weird stuff.
Come on. In the steamer. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.